Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chapter 1 and Beyond. I am your host, Christina, and today's episode is the most longest update for Try It or Trash It series. so, I think what I'm going to do is end up changing this series back to the way that I had it because these updates have been becoming longer and longer. And I ideally wanted to do this as a mini series that can be updated weekly. So yeah, this will probably be the last episode that has 6 books included with it, and that is okay because I wanted to give it a whirl and see how it went. But with all the plans that I want to do with this series, I think just picking 3 books, getting it knocked out within a week, getting it back on a regularly scheduled programming, I think that is going to be our best bet here. So today's episode, like I said, it is the next installment into our Try It or Trash It series, and I'm very excited because all the books that I ended up picking were absolutely fantastic. I have not had a single episode, of this where the ratings are above 3.0 stars. so, so to kind of recap on what was pulled from the last Try It or Trash It episode, we had The Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. We had How We Became Wicked by Alexandra Yates. We had Caraval by Stephanie Garber. The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and then we had Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. So I will say that I'm absolutely keeping every single one of these books because they were absolutely fantastic in their own way. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really gonna be honest with you guys. These were absolutely fantastic books in their own unique way. So like the Night Circus, let's just go from start to bottom. So Night Circus by Aaron Morgenstern. I have actually never really read anything by Aaron Morgenstern, and boy is she fantastic when it comes to storytelling. She is just I was engaged from start to finish. I gave it a 4-star rating. I will say that some of the parts like kind of did draw out a little bit, but it was okay because I was very engaged with the game that they were playing within the Night Circus and how like the character builds were happening and the diversity between the different characters that were present in this book. And just overall, if you're looking to get started with Aaron Morgenstern, I definitely recommend the Night Circus. I do have the Starless Sea on my list, and I'm hoping to get to that one. In fact, I actually updated my Try It or Trash It wheel that I usually will draw my new selections from, and I believe that one is on that list. I'd have to double check, but I know for sure I do have that on my physical shelf, and I'm very excited to dive into that one because I heard it's just as whimsical and amazing as the Night Circus. I know a lot of people like that when I had first added this onto my TBR and onto my physical shelf, they were ranting and raving about this probably about like 5 or 6 years ago. And the fact that it took me this long to read this book, I'm very sad for myself because I'm really, really happy that I read this book. Just if you're looking for like kind of like a gamified way of like a circus and just like the characters and the different backgrounds. I loved the time period this was in. It was like the 1800s and it was so flipping cool. I just really enjoyed this a lot. And I cannot tell you enough how much you need to pick this book up if you have not read it yet. Okay, so yeah, that one was a 4-star. How We Became Wicked by Alexandra Yates. So this one had been part of my book outlet binge, if you will. I was just getting into like building up my bookshelves, and this one happened to be, when I first got introduced to that website, and I was just like going hog wild on purchasing things. It was just crazy. Like I had bought like probably like 50 books in like less than like a 5 or so week time period during that period, but the books were uber cheap. They were only like, in all fairness, like some of the books that I had purchased, including this one, I think were only like $2 or $3, and then the shipping was free, so I could not pass it up at the time. And money was like a little bit more in abundance than it is now. But this one was a YA dystopian, and I was blown away by how terrifying, but also how interesting and how different this dystopian was. And I gave it a 4.5 stars. The only reason why I didn't give it a 5 was because I do have a knack for not enjoying thoroughly YA books, but and I'm very much like, I would like to just stick with one persona, whereas this one had like a parallel point of view with two different characters. So I don't know. It's just more of like a me thing than it probably is anybody else thing. But like how they described like the infected. Oh my gosh, I'm like dropping things. How they described the infected versus like who was unfazed by the outbreak and all that. Was very interesting. And if you are into like dystopian books, I would say like The Stand by Stephen King kind of, is like very, very much like this is the end of the world. And, I would say like it's a little bit more mellower than The Stand, but I would say that How We Became Wicked is definitely a good entry level, if you will, to dystopian. And I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And I am going to be keeping it on my bookshelf because, like, I'm surprised that when it comes to dystopians being mentioned, this one isn't on anyone's list. So this might be a brand new, like, exposure for everybody on this podcast. So I'm hoping to kind of spread the word because I did really enjoy this one. So yeah, if you're into YA dystopians, definitely check that one out. But that one I gave a 4.5 stars and definitely keeping it. I'm not trashing it. The next one that was on the list is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Once again, why did I wait so long to read this book? I don't know. This is the start of the trilogy for Caraval, which I was really excited about because I do have the last two of this trilogy on my shelf. I gave it a 4.0 star rating, and though there is like a love interest and a romance in it, it really didn't take away from, like everything going on with this particular installment of the book. I really enjoyed it. It was everything that I was looking for when it comes to a non-spicy book, when it comes to gamified, like, hey, I have to save a certain person. So like Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, definitely a great series. There's definitely a lot of spice in it, and there's definitely a lot of like romance interest-esque, which is why it's labeled as a romantasy. But with Caraval, it was everything that I was hoping Phantasma would be, but less of the spice. so yeah, Caraval was exactly what I was looking for, and I really like loved it a lot. I cannot wait to pick up the second, which I believe is Legendary in that series, and then the third one is Finale. I feel like I've been living under a hole for a while because like I've had this on my shelf for a while. Just never picked it up. It was very, very much hyped up on BookTube and on, Bookstagram when I was on those platforms at the time. And I just never got around to it. So, but I finished it. I'm hoping to keep continuing with that series until it's done. Definitely keeping that one on my shelf because I could totally see my daughter really liking this in the future. But I kind of want to wait until she's like a little bit older because her reading comprehension right now is probably not to the level of what Caraval is. So I kind of want to wait a little bit until she kind of catches up with that, even though she's about to be in middle school anyway. So, okay. So the fourth book I think we have here. Yeah, the fourth book in this this draw, if you will, is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. So I had originally given this book like a 2-star rating, and I'm thinking to myself, why in the heck did I do that? Maybe because of the fact that I was listening to it on audiobook, and this is more of like some books for me absolutely have to be devoured and like taken in physically. And this book was definitely not your typical fantasy read. I'm mostly, exposed to yes, I love the atmosphere and the world building, but I'm more of like, hey, like this is high stakes war type fantasy books, and you get like a plethora of characters and you have like a problem that has to be solved, whereas this one is definitely cozy. This one was like, hey, we're feeling good about making jams, and like you could like I mean like when I was reading it, I could like envision like the cottage and just like the overall ambiance of this book, and it was great. I definitely gave it a 4.25 stars this go around, because I'm kicking my past self for giving it 2 stars in the past. It was definitely a different kind of fantasy. I'm not used to that cozy-esque like fantasy book, but definitely appreciated it. And I've been finding out that Sarah Beth Durst has like the Enchanted Greenhouse. She's got a new one coming out. Actually, I think it already came out. It was like something with the sea or something. I'm not sure. But like the fact that she is embracing this whole like cozy fantasy like approach, I'm all for it, because sometimes I need like a palate cleanse of like, hey, I want to like escape to a world, but I don't want like to see characters struggling or characters having to fight for their lives. Like I want to be immersed in a world where I can escape to, and I feel like cozy fantasy does the trick for me. So definitely recommend if you are looking for something for like escapism, if you will. It was a really feel good book, and I really enjoyed it. So, and then the last one, because like this whole like draw of this book selection was definitely a wild one, because we got Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card, and I did not know that this is a majorly long series. I've seen like the movie before I read the book, and I feel like I spoiled it for myself, but it was very, very different. Like you got a lot more background into like the academy and the kids and his home life and how things have like kind of come about, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4-star rating. So like, zinger across the board. I'm definitely keeping it. I do not own any more of this series, but I don't know if I feel comfortable going out and buying more of the series. I would rather continue just like getting it through the library and then continuing the series that way. But I will say that if you're looking for something that involves like more of like kids within an intergalactic type setting, an academy, I definitely recommend Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. His writing is very different. I have not been exposed to Orson Scott Card, and I know this like a series was like I think published back in the 80s. 1980s for those youngins out there that think, us old folk live in the 1900s. That's not, that's a thing, I guess, apparently. But I will say I'm really sad that I didn't like pick this up like back when I was in high school, because this is something I probably like past self me would have devoured and enjoyed heavily. So yeah, I mean, 4 stars and above. I've never had that happen with a try it or trash it episode so far. So the name of the game here is, for this next draw, I'm only going to do 3 books from this wheel, because I want to be able, I think honestly, with my upcoming week, I think and feel confident that I can get at least 3 of these books knocked out so that I can give you guys a very thorough, update within a week, and then, get it out there and we can, knock things out. So yeah, I did update my spinner wheel. We are only going to do 3 books. All of the books that I have listed on the spinner wheel now are series that I'm in the middle of, or they're standalones that are on my shelf. I have only put books that I physically own now. Whereas before I was taking from my want to read list and I would go to the library, get those books, or I would purchase them. I think for the sake of this, I just want to focus mainly on series that I'm in the middle of and I want to get finished up. I'm not going to start new series if I can help it. And then the standalones that I do have currently on my carts or my shelf, I want to add those into the mix too. So, but with that said, I am going to give this a spin, and we're going to see what our first book is. I'm really hoping for a continuation in the Wicked Saints series, and maybe a continuation in maybe the duology, The Steel Striker by Marie Lu. That would be awesome to have too. All right, and I got my wish. So the first pick that came up was Ruthless Gods by Emily A. Duncan. This is the second in the Wicked Saints series that I currently have on my shelf. There are 3 total in this series. But I'm very excited to see what happens with these characters and the the push pull with the stakes that were left in the first book. So yeah, Ruthless Gods by Emily A. Duncan. This is the second, and we will be reading that for the Try It or Trash It episode that's coming up. So I'm gonna write this down just so that I can keep track of this. But I mean, if you have not heard of the Wicked Saints series, definitely check it out because it is so good. It has a Slavic folklore influence, which is very interesting to me, and the magic system. I mean, this is pretty known, it says in the synopsis, so this is not spoiling anything, but it's got blood magic and really unique, cool magic system. Definitely recommend it. So yeah, okay, so that is the first one that we are grabbing. Let's do spin number 2 to see what we have next. And believe it or not, some of the books that are in this spinner wheel are not my typical genres, but I do have them sitting on my shelf. So, all right. So we have An Ember in the Forest. I need to grab that one because I'm actually... I think this is from an indie author, but I don't remember who wrote it and what it's about. So give me 1 second. All right, so you remember how I said that I wasn't going to start a new series? Apparently, this is a start of a series. I'm a little bummed with myself for not researching that ahead of time, and it's a pretty thick book. My gosh. Let's see. Yeah, this is definitely self-published. It looks like. Yeah, so Shadow and Ash Volume 2 coming in 2024. So this is definitely aged. I mean, the font for the chapters are pretty big, so I think it'll be okay. It is a 556-page book. It is by Emily Gray. It's called An Ember in the Forest, and it says on the back, "Welcome to my prison, Kaysen. Arya is trapped, locked away in isolation in a strange forest without memories of who she is or where she came from. Arya fights to make sense of the small world around her, with only her name written on a piece of paper and a wolf for company. The fight for freedom feels bleak as loneliness creeps in. Her only escape comes when she falls asleep each night to dream of him. Kaysen is haunted. The prestige general of Landora, Kaysen Alvar, Alvar, I believe, is haunted by nightmares about a girl in the woods he doesn't know and can never save. These visions chase him from sleep, haunting his waking world until he feels a pull leading deep into the woods outside the safety of the city walls. A rebellion is brewing. Ancient enemies are stirring with whispers of another war surfacing. The fate of the world hangs in the balance as Kason and Arya fight to untangle the hidden web of secrets about who they are. Arya's stolen memories are the key to unlocking who she is meant to be. The secrets of the system force Kason to face the dark truth about his world and which side he will choose on fight on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had gotten this. I purchased it from indie author, and I was really curious because like the cover is gorgeous. I mean, it's, like she did a beautiful job on the front cover, and usually, oh, she signed it too. So I have a signed copy from the author. This is awesome. Okay. Well, I'm excited for this. This was published back in 2023, so this is a 3-year-old book. I am really excited that there is a map in here, but I mean, oh, there's even a, huh. I don't know if that's too, that's like a personalized message in here. What? To Christina, thank you for reading this story through all of its stages. Oh no, it's another Christina. I was like, wait, what? Like there's custom like messaging in here? This is awesome. To the reader, thank you for taking a chance on this book. It means more to me than I will ever be able to express. Oh, that's sweet. I love being able to like support indie authors, and I am really excited about this. Yes, it is a start to a series, and I'm a little nervous to start yet another series because I am very much knee deep in series right now. But I feel like this needs to get read, so I am really excited about this. And we got another author named Emily on my list. So this is turning out great. All right, so we are going to give that one a whirl. Okay, I have one more spin. I am really hoping, well, let's just spin and see, because I do have like a few books that I really, really would love to get, but I don't know what's going to end up happening. Oh, oh no. I'm not looking forward to this spin. So I got The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. So if you've been on this podcast or any of my BookTube content on YouTube in the past, you know that this has been added onto my TBR a few times, and I've just shoved it to the side. With this wonderful series, I either have to read it or I have to get rid of it. So I think it's going to be time to embrace this read as much as I've been dreading it. The only reason why I've been dreading it is because of the content that is in this book. So definitely check your trigger warnings, but it's about a story about a woman who I think her mom had just committed suicide or something happened to her. Like it was something that I feel is majorly triggering, and I've been avoiding like this whole book because of the content, only because I'm like, okay, this is like gonna kind of put me feeling like in a dark space, and I'm not really looking forward to this. But I think based off of what people have mentioned about this book, it is a beautiful story. It is like about grief and like kind of like going through those motions of grief and like kind of just discovering oneself through that journey of grief. And I did keep this on my shelf because I wanted to read this book eventually, but here we are, adding it onto the Try It or Trash It episode. So, And I think, honestly, it's going to be okay. I'm just a little nervous for it because, um, you know, um, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. The fact that each of the authors are all named Emily, it's kind of creepy. So I got Emily A. Duncan with Ruthless Gods. I have An Ember in the Forest by Emily Gray. And then I have now this, The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. So very different, same authors, all Emily. So for this next episode is going to be really interesting because I think we got fantasy, and then maybe literary fiction, contemporary fiction. I don't know what the category is for The Astonishing Color of After. I would say, well, maybe it might be magical realism. I'm going to have to look this up because I am uber curious on this. Let's see what hardcover says about The Astonishing Color of After, because I'm really not 100% sure. Nope, I was definitely wrong. It is also a fantasy fiction. Okay, interesting. Um, and like the book info that is on hardcover says that it's a 480 page book. Published back in 2018. So this one has definitely been on my shelf for some time. It definitely needs to be read because like we're almost coming up. If I wait another 2 years, it's going to come up on 10 years of this book being published. And okay, so according to the book info, it's an instant New York Times bestseller. This stunning, heartbreaking novel about grief, love, and family is perfect for fans of Jandy Nelson and Celeste Ng. I was not a fan of Celeste Ng's book. I'm going to be honest with you. So, it says on here, though, Lee Chen Sanders is absolutely certain about one thing. When her mother died by suicide, she turned into a bird. Lee, who is half Asian and half white, travels to Taiwan to meet her maternal grandparents for the first time. There, she is determined to find her mother, the bird. In her search, she winds up chasing after ghosts, uncovering family secrets, and forging a new relationship with her grandparents. As she grieves, she must try to reconcile the fact that on the same day she kissed her best friend and longtime secret crush, Axel, her mother was taking her own life. Alternating between reality and magic, past and present, hope and despair, The Astonishing Color of After is a luminous debut novel about finding oneself through family history, art, bravery, and love. I mean, on paper, that sounds very emotional read, but very amazing. Like, because I don't know how you kind of tie a journey with grief and finding oneself through like finding a bird, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I read Watermoon by Samantha Soto, or Yambo Soto, I believe is the author's name. I absolutely love that book. That one wasn't, obviously the mother died by suicide, but it was like a journey to find her dad, and it was absolutely incredible. But I do love the fact that there's like it sets place in Taiwan, and it's more of like Asian descent and kind of unlocking that, and like talking about grief. That is not a topic that I normally read about, but I'm very, very, very excited about this because I don't know why I have horrible hiccups right now. Oh my gosh. Give myself a second. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, for me, it like feels like this will be a really emotional read, and I am a bit tiny nervous, but the fact that it's only 480 pages, I still feel confident that between An Ember in the Forest, Ruthless Gods, which I know for a fact that I can get on audiobook, I believe I can get The Astonishing Color of After on audiobook, but I feel like maybe this is going to be like an emotional read, and I'm not going to be able to really keep up with it if I'm working. So yeah, those are the 3 books that are on this episode. I'm looking forward to updating you guys in a week. Let me know your thoughts on the books that were selected. If you've read them, let me know your thoughts. Definitely like and subscribe this podcast so that you are kept in the loop when I do make the update on the next episode. As always, thank you guys so much for supporting this podcast, and I look forward to talking with you guys in the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye.